Hey, welcome back here to another episode of the Central PA Pour. I am Brett.
I'm Dave.
Are you sure?
I think so.
You sure?
I'm not positive. I'm not sitting where I used to.
Yeah, we got you a little out of place. So as you can see, it's only the two of us here again today. Kevin is off traveling, and Ben is getting ready to do some more live episodes. He's taken that bull by the horn, and he's going to run with some live episodes.
The horse by the collar?
Yep, the horse by the collar. So speaking of horses.
The twister by the funnel?
Yeah. Speaking of
boat
horses.
By the anchor?
Yeah, I got you. So speaking of horses, we have some special guests in here, and we are happy to have them. We met them down at Brew Kids on the Block. I kind of got to know our first guest here, the mainstay that I got to know a lot quick, and it was great. So welcome, gentlemen, to the Central PA Pour. Tell us who you are.
I'm Jason with Gift Horse Brewing Company. I'm the head brewer general manager. And
I'm Mick. I am the jack of all trades and master of none at Gift Horse Brewing Company.
Oh, that's awesome. So welcome, gentlemen, to our little podcast in our little Essex Home Brew Works recording studio.
we appreciate being here. We're very excited to do.
Yep. So, like I said, we met you guys face to face, really, at Brew Kids on the Block. What a fantastic time!
It was a pretty damn good time. I'm not going to lie to you. I might have had a little bit too much fun, especially towards the end of it. But in general, it was really cool. I mean, you know, if the rain would have held off a little bit better, I think there would have been more people to come down and join us. But you know, throwing something on our home turf and with the turnouts of brewers that we had there, I really couldn't have asked for anything.
And I think everyone that attended had a good time.
I think so too.
We were very pleased with the turnout that was there. They were there for the right reasons. Everybody had a good time.
Yeah, and even though it rained, I mean, the rain held off long enough to hold the event.
It did, yeah.
It really did.
Pretty much didn't rain until towards the end. It started to drizzle again.
Yep.
It was almost like
Teardown time.
Yeah. We were very fortunate, actually.
Yep, and we got there because I was talking to you, Jason.
Absolutely, yeah. And we threw it out for you guys to come down and live stream. I know you guys had some technical stuff. We loved having you guys down there. I know everybody else got a kick out of it too, and it was kind of fun.
It was fun.
It had to have been fun, like live streaming.
It was our first event.
Oh, okay.
We've never done anything like that.
Very nice. So, I mean, and then it was in the middle of like a block-wide Nerf gun war.
Oh, yeah. I think Rich and Chris brought that up. He said, yeah, the Nerf guns. I was like, I don't know who cleaned that shit up.
We're still finding them randomly in the beer garden. Yeah.
That was a good idea.
I mean, and if you really look at it, we had about a month-long Nerf gun war.
We did
at the brewery.
At the brewery, yeah.
So they've been put away until next year.
They undoubtedly will come back.
Maybe we'll do laser tag.
Well, we might do something. But let's just see what Matt Davis comes up with, because that was his baby, and it was a very good choice. It worked out well.
I'll tell you what. Do you guys ever remember the comedy Gallagher?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The watermelons?
Yeah, well, I went to see him at the Strand a long time ago.
Yeah.
And he made a beer gun.
Oh, nice.
I forget what gadget. It was one of those as seen on TV gadgets, and he took a beer can. And I was sitting in the front row, and he's like, "Who drinks beer?" And I stood right up.
Of course.
And he's sitting there going like that. So instead of Nerf guns, let's find some beer guns.
Guns.
I mean, in principle, I'm for this. But that's a pretty big waste of beer. I mean,
it is. Yeah.
Unless we're going to do it like hibachi style, where we're shooting in everyone's mouth and all that stuff. Like it's sake.
Oh, you want some sake?
Exactly.
So we're glad to have you here. I know we've been communicating a lot throughout trying to get you guys, and we're glad to have you here. I mean, I've been looking forward to this. You guys have a prime location in downtown York.
Yeah.
What made you pick that location, and how did you pick that location?
The location, I mean, that was Casey Brenner. He ran my original business partner, Gift Horse. He ran his business at the end of the block and said he'd always loved to do something there at the end, and that was kind of his idea. And at the time, I was so happy to just looking at a forever home or whatever for the brewery, that I was like, well, I'll go in a shoebox if you want to, like, as long as it's
great to just have somebody that saw your dream and your vision, and was able to help you get there. So.
So that's how we ended up. Now, that being said, I had already said on that at the time what was going on in downtown York, we really wanted to be a part of that. I mean, because with everything that was going on back in, like, this goes back to like 2015, Pretzel Company opening, and the like Revival Social Club, and Rockfish Public House, all these places that were starting to come in. York all of a sudden kind of was cool again. Because York, I hate to say it, but it really, like, for entertainment, nightlife wise, it really sucked for a long time.
I've been here all my life
for a while.
Tell you.
Yeah. It's had its ups and downs.
Yep, it's had its up and down. When I was back in the 80s, it was a prime place to go.
Yes,
you went cruise to Circuit. You you maybe went to the Golden Bear and that kind of stuff. And,
but then even when they brought in all the hardware bar and all that stuff.
Oh my God, yeah.
And that was cool. I mean, it was fun. There was people like,
but it's nothing like it is now.
Yeah, now it's like it's sustainable.
Yeah.
It's like a place where it's not just like screaming 22-year-olds, like, thrown up on the sidewalks and shit like that.
22, how about 53-year-olds?
But, now it's a place like, there's options. To pop around, and we love being one of the options.
I think Glenn Smith said it best. He's like, he's trying to make York a destination, and it has. I mean, York, speaking of York, Downtown Inc., you guys just got something from them recently.
Yep. Yes, we did. We were the Merchant of the Month for October this year, which was kind of surprising, but
it didn't surprise me at all.
Well, it was surprising that it just kind of popped in there, and I can see why we did, because we've tried to do things that made our little corner of the downtown a destination, a place that people want to end their night or start their night.
Yeah, and I'm surprised it took so long.
Well,
this season. No, but I'm totally joking, but like not really. But I mean, to play on what Mick's saying about what we're trying to do down on our little corner of the downtown is that, like, having a brewery it's a lot of hard work. It's fun making beer, and it's fun like selling beer and all that kind of stuff. But the little things, like, that beer garden is a monster.
Oh, yeah.
My girlfriend, Erin, has spent so much time, like planting the flowers and, redoing all the planters. And then we have Eugene down there mowing the yard, like, weekly, and raking, and Davey digging holes. And, like, it's been such a group effort of, like, our staff.
Hard labor. Some of it's hard labor.
Yeah. I mean,
and you know what? In the long term, it pays off.
Yeah. And I mean, we don't always pay the hard labor either,
I guess you got
kids,
You kind of got away. You want a beer?
Exactly. You start making beer, and people want to start helping. That's
I work for beer.
That's true.
How about you, Dave? You work for beer?
Sometimes.
Yep.
So, where did the name Gift Horse come from? I've heard Gift Horse and some of the old adages. Is that how you guys come up with Gift Horse?
So originally, when I started home brewing, I brewed all the time. I basically turned my mother-in-law and father-in-law's basement into a makeshift brewery for quite a while. But
they were happy.
I mean, my father-in-law definitely was. I mean, the roasted Irish ale was one of the recipes we came up for him. I called it the Wren at one point in time. I always had it on like tap in the house, so he had something to drink. But when Josh Jacobs, who is my like brewing partner, I've come up with most of these recipes that we have, with Josh. Josh and I were always surrounded by horses when we were brewing, and it just kind of seemed natural to go that direction. And at one point in time, I don't know if it was him or me, or it could have been both of us at the same damn time. I don't remember, but we were like, we shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. And I was like, nice ring to it.
It does.
And
it's different. It's catchy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We're happy with it. I mean, it's lasted this long.
I love the name.
Yeah, and you took that name, and the logo is pretty cool. You got an upside down horseshoe, little hop leaf going up the side. It's a great little. Yeah, I see
logo.
that.
Great logo.
Yeah, it's an awesome logo.
It is.
Appreciate
It
that.
is.
That was actually made by a local designer named Danielle Olson. She had a business named Do Creative at one point in time. I think she went to work for she went off to bigger and better things and all that kind of stuff. But she'll always be like near and dear to me because she came up with the logo and was very awesome about it.
So you're part of a little group in downtown York of brewers. I mean, I think there's another one that just popped in. Unfortunately, I think we had mentioned Old Forge closed up at the end of September.
Yeah, it's a damn shame too.
Yeah, I mean,
Damien and those guys, their beer is, excuse my language, but it's fucking good.
Yeah, it was pretty
good. And the food was just as good in there.
And it was a cool little spot right across from the Holy Hound.
And Holy Hound,
absolutely.
Another great spot downtown.
Inside the arcade.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you guys, Liquid Hero, Collusion, Mudhook, you had Old Ford, and it's growing.
We had Crystal Ball too.
And Crystal Ball at one time.
And Collusion we have now.
Yeah. So, it's become a destination, not only just the breweries, the Roost, Mexitali. Downtown York is becoming a destination.
Well, don't forget about Archetype Pizza just opened.
Yeah, I saw that.
They carry Gear House
out
of
and that's part of my when we get into beer news. I heard Gear House was coming in. It was with Archetype Pizza. So it's great. It's happy to see because I'm a Dover guy, so York has always been in part of my life. I'm happy to see that it's been cleaned up. It's a place you want to go walk around.
And I think a lot of that has to be attributed to Helfrich. I hate to sound cheesy but like the leadership of our city or the city right now. What they're doing to make it comfortable for, small businesses and startups and stuff like that to come down to the city. It's really great.
And I think it's a common thread with, and I think Glenn Smith, when we had him back in our St. Patrick's Day episode, small towns that are starting to do away, businesses have moved out, they become evacuated. And the popularity of the craft brew house has come into that area and started to repopulate it and turn it around. So it's your industry that is kind of generating this. And I think it's great.
It's not a big shocker to me that any of the buildings that you see that, up for lease and rent are like perfect for a brewery, perfect for a tap house. Expand your location. Yeah,
they're advertised like that.
And I tell you, it's awesome because you're taking over some old buildings that are part of the history of that area, and it looks, you guys turn them into whatever it is, it looks great. Like your place, and you're gonna see pictures throughout this video of gift tours, and eventually we're gonna get down there and do a walk around. But the beer garden, you guys project stuff on the outside like sporting events, so you can not only go get some beer, get some good food. Watch a freaking sporting event on the side of a brick building.
Sure. And we do more than just the beer too. At the end of the day, that's one thing that I specifically, and I almost feel like I shouldn't be saying this, but like I'm the one that's always like, we're a brewery, damn it. We're a brewery, damn it. But like we have 2 full service bars. We squeezed orange crushes. Like we try to make it, because of our location.
Yeah.
We make it so that like everybody has something for them to like come in and hang out, because honestly, like, if, Brett, you and your wife come down, like, and, you can't find the glass of wine that you're looking for, I don't want your wife to make you, like you have to leave.
You got to worry about the wine with us. But I understand.
Or the mixed drinks. It's just, not in every family. There's those that are not big beer drinkers.
Exactly. And there are some breweries out there that all they have is beer.
They want their stuff, and that's that. And that's a great niche to have. And if they can make it like that, that's fantastic. But we've found that we have too many other places around us that 1 or 2 people who are not beer drinkers, if we don't have something to satisfy their taste, they're going to talk to the rest of the group.
And they're going to go across the street.
They're going to go across the street.
Rockfish. You go down there to Left Bank and all that kind of stuff.
It's great.
Two Tonys, Handsome Cab.
Yeah.
We love when they come the other way. They go to those places for dinner.
And then come to you guys to finish the night off.
Exactly. And listen to some great live music and, bullshit with it.
So where can they find Gift Horse Brewing? You guys have a website. You're on social.
Yeah, so our website is www.gifthorsebrewing.com. On the socials, just search for Gift Horse Brewing Company.
Yeah,
we post stuff all the time. Like, it makes my
You're
eyes
very
hurt.
active on it.
Well, I mean, and it's something I think we got to do.
You have to.
Like, I like it to be that, like, Tuesday morning, I like people to, be searching through their stuff once they're bored at work for the first hour they've been there, and they get to be like, oh shit, Mother Dimension's playing down a Gift Horse on
Friday night. And Mother Dimension's pretty awesome.
And speaking of that, Ben knows he did some research, and Monday and Tuesdays are your best social media post days.
They are.
So Ben is our younger guy,
So
and
he's
the
noticing
one,
it.
He takes the social media, and that's why he's going to do the live platform. But yeah, so Gift Horse, look them up. I mean, down. What is the address down? It's something George Street.
It's 117 North George Street, downtown York. I mean, we're right at the corner of Philadelphia and George Street.
Yeah, you can't miss it.
If you miss our gigantic beer garden, you got
three big white tents.
Yeah,
you probably don't need to drink. You're gonna miss that.
You probably had enough to drink if you can't find us.
So Mick,
we're pretty visible.
So Mick, how did you get in with Gift Horse?
Well, I just happened to be strolling by.
Were you sitting at the bar one night, had too many beers, like, I'll fucking buy this place?
Well,
oh, is that where the storyline's going?
Well, my first encounter was I was walking home from up around the Royal Square area. I was at the Cantina that night. Had a good time. I'm walking home, and I'm coming down the street and saw lights on in this building that had been nothing in there for quite a while. And I was like, what is this? And I'm looking up in the window, and I'm like, that's a bar.
Ooh, I could use a nightcap.
And behind the bar was this guy. And he's there going like this.
I mean,
like, come on in.
That's some interface marketing.
He might as well have been like this. Reeling me in.
Like,
and
throwing some beer out the window.
Yeah. And
I have beer.
As it turns out, that was their soft opening for friends and family, and like basically invitation.
Yeah.
It wasn't to the public that they were going to be open. So it was just ironic that I was there on the night that everybody that helped build the place, the families that were behind those people. I met most everybody that night, and he introduced me to so many people. And I do believe I was one of the last people to. We were sitting in the back.
Pretty much every night from there on
him
out.
And Josh and
he's
I
still
were
there.
Like the last three sitting there.
Now, I got to throw in that, for about the first month or so I came there, I thought he was from New Zealand here on vacation. Because I think I probably had a little bit too much to drink.
And I may have told him that.
You didn't have an accent, did you?
He said he was like,
it was the way I was dressed. I cargo pants and the shirt.
He had like one of those fly fisherman shirt on thing. And he said his name was Mick. And I was like, what are you, from Australia or whatever? And he was like, actually, I'm from New zealand. I'm here on vacation. I was like, oh shit, this is cool. So then for the next couple of weeks, I'd introduce, I'd be like, yeah, this is my buddy Mick from New Zealand, and
the name Nicholas was born from that.
Nicholas.
Yeah. So I think I kind of forgot that I told him that.
Is there a beer brewed for Nicholas?
I mean, most of the beers we brew now are somehow involved with Nicholas, but so then eventually, like, I'm behind the bar one night when, like, we were gonna close because it was like snowing like a motherfucker all day, and like I wasn't supposed to bartend that night. It was like when I was finally, I was allowed to just work down there. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to just be there all day, then bartend all night. I finally was like, I can't.
Well, the bartenders didn't come in.
Well, I told them not to come in because like the traffic was a bitch.
Yep.
And I was finally like, you know what? I'll open for a little bit. No one's gonna come in. Well, now, I'm sitting there and we have like a full bar of like 25 people, and this guy comes strolling in wearing a FedEx outfit, and I was like, but
special delivery.
I got off the road early. They called us in because the snow was that bad, but
So wait a minute.
I'm off early.
Wait a minute.
I'm going down to the
You're a
brewery.
FedEx driver. They called you off early. Did you pull one in the FedEx truck? I'm going to go get a beer.
Well, it wasn't in the FedEx truck. It was in my own pickup truck. But I rolled in and
Well, but that I'm trying to figure out. I'm
He's
like,
going
I thought, like, did you get a job at FedEx? Like, I thought you were on vacation, man. Like, I thought you had to go home soon. And he broke it to me that it's been like this big ruse for the past month, and then I felt like an asshole. I was like, all the signs were there. You know everybody, like, like you don't have an accent.
Yeah. How did you know half the people that already came in?
He was doing a walkabout.
That's exactly too. Anyway, so that's how Mick and I fell in love, and now here we are.
We did. We were by the end of the first night. We were giving each other hugs.
You got him.
We knew there was an immediate connection.
Oh, that's
which was
I could see it now. I mean, even when we met you guys and had you guys come sit down at Brew Kids on the Block, I could tell there's something special here.
There is something,
and just the vibe that we got out of that day, and even just the vibe from gift tours, the social media posts. You guys are doing great.
Appreciate that.
we do.
I mean, Emery, I listened to the last podcast that Emery was on.
He was
Scrubbies.
awesome.
Well, Emery is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Jess of Scrubbies with the Bowling Alley Brewery, all their concepts and that. Emery brews some of the best beer that I've had locally, and like everywhere I've been.
Yeah.
You want a true to style beer, like he's the guy that you go to. But Emery, and I totally lost my thought here. Talking about just the whole scene of Brew Kids on the Block.
Oh, the Brew Kids on the
Yeah.
Block. Yeah, that was I don't know.
I have no idea.
I lost it. I mean,
You're getting like me.
I should be quiet then.
I'm normally I don't talk a lot because of the fact that I don't try to outdo the people of knowledge like Brett and yourself.
All right. He's throwing me. I got no knowledge, Dave.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure what I have knowledge of.
But the knowledge of the beer making, and you do have the knowledge of the people who are in the industry a lot better than I do.
Well,
Because a lot of times, I get up in the morning, I look at my wallet to see who the hell I am. So I'm not going to remember names like everybody else is. So that's just not going to happen. But
I have them written on the palm of my hand.
like the old high school cheat sheets.
Yeah.
So speaking of knowledge, the only knowledge I got is that we got a beer sitting here in our little taster rack.
Yes, we do.
So tell us what our first beer is going to be.
So this is our Citra Shandy.
Shanty. So it's going to be like a little light and refreshing.
It's very light and refreshing. It's 4.25% alcohol. Try a little bit.
It's appealing to many. There's very few people that say, "Oh, I couldn't drink."
Wow.
It's a nice
It appeals
hot day
to the
beer.
people who don't like craft beers and to the people.
Personally, I hate it.
And I'm not loud about
Oh my goodness!
it. But guess what? The public loves it.
They do.
There you go.
So
We made it as a seasonal. We were open, and it became one of our top sellers. And then when I took it off the menu, I thought there was going to be a fucking riot. Yeah, like all these women were coming in. And at first I thought it was going to be that, and then all these dudes were coming in. They were like, "When are you bringing the shandy back, bro?"
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, "Well, I guess I got to make this fucking
yeah,
shandy
we gotta
again."
make the shandy again.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Citra Shandy.
Yeah, it's or Citra Shandy. I'm going to drink it first. Maybe that'll make me be able to talk.
Oh, there you go. Now you'll remember after tasting it.
So
That's Citra wheat.
The shandy, it's I use our Citra wheat, which is an American pale wheat, and then I blend it with English style lemonade. Like I said, I like the Citra wheat better myself, but the people have spoken, and now I can't even sell it. I have to keep it all and make shandy out.
So it's no longer
Yeah.
seasonal. This is a staple on tap.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I tell you what. So this is a summer beer.
It is.
It's very refreshing.
It's a lawnmower beer.
It's light.
Yep.
It has a little of that sweet undertone. I'm getting it. You said lemonade with it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like a standard shandy is it's a lighter beer mixed with lemonade. I mean, it's supposed to be, it's like a beer that you drink to not get drunk.
Yeah.
I guess. But
I have yet to find one of them.
Believe me, people get drunk drinking it. Don't.
They can, because it goes down pretty easy.
And then it's
so German, even though it's only 4.25.
Yeah, then it's German best friend. The German version of a shandy is a Radler.
So that's where the Radler. I always wonder where Radler came in.
Yeah, so Radler would be like an ale mixed with the lemonade would be a shandy, and then a Pilsner or a lager mixed with the lemonade would be a Radler.
Kind of what they call blended down.
You got it, my friend.
So but that's an easy drinking, very refreshing.
Sure, I drink it when I don't want to
get drunk.
Well, if I have a hangover or something like that,
I've had the Leinenkugels. That was kind of the first shandies I had.
Me too. That's what got me on the shandies for the summertime.
And this is better.
I heard that people like this because it doesn't have the acidity that the Leinenkugel has.
That is true. Yeah. That's fact.
Yeah. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
And if the people are saying it can't be wrong.
No, and it's kind of like it's just like a lemonade almost. It's wanting you quenching for more.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean it's like I said. I mean, as long as people want to buy it, we'll make it. You know what I mean? And I hate to sound like like money is the thing, but money affords me to be able to make strawberry rhubarb sours and beers that I like Day at the Races, which also affords me to like lemon lime sour and things like that.
So sours I'm taking as one of your fortes.
I mean, it's kind of like
it's a stage of life.
I think I'm in the sour stage.
I think he's in the sour stage of life.
I like it's with brewing. One of the things that's like the most fun about it for me is to like figure things out, and I feel like where I'm at right now with like my brewing kind of like life cycle.
It is.
It is that like I kind of figured out, something that I keep wanting to play with. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I made Day at the Races like a million times. And I've made Quaker Baked a million times, which I still love them. They're like my favorite, beer kids, if that makes any sense. Like I probably sound like a psychopath.
They're your staples, though.
They are flagships or staples.
They're the flagship.
But my kind of thing is like I like to do the stuff that we haven't done yet. And I think that any brewer that would be sitting here, that would say anything different, they're probably lying to you. You know what I mean? Like anybody that's like, I like to make the same 5 beers over and over. Guess what? That's fucking boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I think we've talked about this several times. There's only so many styles of it, but what you guys are doing with them styles is what kind of drew me into this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, that's a whole different flavor profile. I like it.
And it's kind of the cool thing. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this or not, but like when we were talking about the whole aspect of giving brewers the same kind of concept of a beer, give them the same grain bill, the same hops that they're supposed to put into it. If you put 5 brewers in a room and you give them that information, chances are all the beers are going to taste different. You know what I mean? And even you could even be like, they all have to be an IPA. You can use 2-row, Anna Malt, Crystal 40, and you can use Cascade, Centennial, and Citra. Chances are they're all going to taste a little bit different.
And I think that's where, like IPA, I mean, anybody can go get an IPA, but your IPA is going to taste a little different than down the street at Liquid Hero.
Yeah.
Mudhook, or back at Collusion. They're all going to taste a little different. You might use, like you just said, you might use the same grain bill, the same malt bill, but how you do it might be a little different.
The techniques are a little different.
Exactly.
And it changes it.
Yeah. I was talking about this with Emery. One of the styles that I become more of an ale fan. We started this venture was porters, stouts, dark lagers. I like the ales, the brown ales, the red ales.
Mm-hmm.
There's a style out there that's not being done a whole lot. The English style bitter.
Mm-hmm.
And Emery's like, I've been thinking about playing with one of them. Brooks Haymeyer does it. I love an English style bitter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he put it put it to good words. He's call it a pub ale. It'll sell.
And there you go. And so, some of it is how you can, twist that and present it.
And market. Yeah.
Yeah. And exactly. If you call it an English style bitter, people are going to be like, well, I don't like things that are bitter.
But I'll go out and get a West Coast that's like chewing on grass.
Yeah. But and that's the other thing. Like people like, my favorite is like people are like, just don't like the hoppy beers.
Well, beers,
but I mean, but 98% of beers have hops in them. I mean, unless you're getting into like the spruce tips and weird shit like that people don't make because they don't sell. You know what I mean? Like
you might make it for your backyard party.
Exactly, and that's great. Like I had Stephen Poor from the Scabs, the central,
the Southern County,
South County or Southern County.
Yeah. Stephen, he made at Yorktoberfest 2 weeks ago. He had a spruce tips beer, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Well, I got to try that." You know what I mean? And
was it good?
It was really good. I could drink that sample of it, but I can appreciate it. You know what I mean? I definitely wouldn't sit there and get like turnt. You know what I mean? As the kids say or whatever. Like I'm not gonna have 3 or 4 of them, but I mean, true to style, he did a great job with it. It was delicious, but your general public, Tom and Sally and Barry aren't gonna buy it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, speaking for the general public, spruce tips. What is that?
So spruce tips, it's from like a spruce tree, like
Mm-hmm.
just as they're starting to grow out, and they get that nice limey kind of green tip. You basically cut them off, and instead of using hops, you would put those in your beer.
Okay, I had a mental picture of that when you said that, but I thought I'd ask to be sure, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there listening there. What's spruce tips? And hopefully somebody will explain it.
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
Nick's like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Not even close to
figuring
out what that was.
You just go along for the ride.
I am along for the ride.
And pay the bills.
Just to let you know that somewhere on a Reddit forum, like if this ever gets there, somebody's going to be, Jason did not explain that beer properly at all. And if I didn't, I apologize, guys. But like that's how I see it.
You're going to get that with anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to get that with anything.
But again, I mean, that's the beauty of beer. Is like, it's one of the coolest things that like I think, about beer in general is the fact that like you don't have to like every type of beer. Like we're all happy. Like I don't care if like people come to Gift Horse. If you don't like every beer that I make, I don't expect you to.
Yeah.
I should find something.
Actually,
you know what I mean?
Hopefully you find something you like.
Well, I mean, if you don't, then my heart is going to be hurt a little bit.
And that's,
but,
I think we had off camera, we were talking about that with the untapped ratings. It's some of you guys, you'll take it to heart if somebody gives one of your beers like a quarter or a half rating. Why even bother? Don't check it in. So I saw on your social media, you guys got something. It's kind of always popping up. It's called Happy Camper Eats and Treats. What is that about?
What is that about?
Yes,
that is our somewhat new kitchen chef. Going to be our food for the winter. So we found somebody who sees our vision, and their vision is to have a restaurant, have a kitchen, and be in the food business. So we've partnered with them, and they're gonna carry us through the winter. And the guy's name is Nate.
And he makes a damn good Smashburger.
I saw that picture.
Unbelievable
God,
Smashburger.
That thing looked delicious.
They are excellent.
I've known this guy my whole life, right? Like he's my brother.
Like he's his brother.
Yeah. So I've known him my whole life, right? And this son of a bitch can.
Yeah. And
he's never done anything. And like we were talking, and the one day, and he's like, "Yeah, blah blah blah, this and this, excuses." And I was like, "Hey, all you do is post about food on Facebook, like, like, you guys go out and camp, you have like your camper, and you're doing all this stuff on your Blackstone and all that shit." And I was like, "Come make some of these Smashburgers at Gift Horse, and Mick."
And he was looking for a career change. And we were like, if this is something that you really have a vision for, let's see if you can make it work.
Wow.
And
so you guys, do you have the space for a kitchen? Is there a kitchen there, or is it going to be like
he's going to be outside
and bring it in?
Yep,
absolutely. So
he'll be outside in a tent. I mean, we can drop the sides on the tent. We will probably have some of his stuff inside, but most of the actual preparing of the food will be outside.
Here's our disclaimer: he is getting food permits and the health inspections and stuff like this.
Yeah,
he's not just
legitimate.
It's legitimate.
He's legitimate because he's decided that he's getting out of his old career and he wants a change in life and wants to do something different. And it came along for us at the perfect time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're
coming down. We're winding down to summer months.
Yeah.
Where you guys normally have like food trucks in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we love having the food trucks, and we'll still have food trucks. It just. This time of year, it made a lot of sense for us. I mean, even I kept walking this line of being like, Mick, I think we should do this. But then I'd also be like, I didn't want Mick to be like, well, you just want your brother to come in here.
No, so it was never.
I kind of just kept waiting for Mick to be like, you know what? I think this.
Now, if you see his RV parked in the beer garden and a campfire, then you might have to start worrying about it.
Well, the Happy Camper is the name comes from that they have a trailer that they go camping on a regular basis.
Wow.
And when he's out camping, they go to campgrounds where they know a lot. They've been doing this for years. They know a lot of people, and it's a community. I mean, and he cooks for the group.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he already has that established that they're like, wow, what's Nate going to have for us this weekend? Because he always has something going on a weekend camping trip that he's feeding everybody.
He's like, I'm cooking like breakfast, lunch, and dinner for like 30-some people. And I'm like, been arrested.
Yeah. Yeah. So
just do it.
Just do it.
And now, worst case scenario, like it's a good deal for us. It's a good deal for him. And again, his fucking Smashburgers are like delicious. I ate one of them today before I came here.
Yeah.
And like, I'll eat some the next time he's in. And
now explain the difference between a regular burger and a smash burger.
I mean,
it's just smashed up and put on a griddle.
Well, so it's smashed, but like the way that it
he seasons the meat. He blends the meat and seasonings in it before it goes onto the grill.
He's told me 100 times you got to use 80-20 chuck. 80-20 chuck.
Yeah.
And the way the seasons he puts in, I think the Blackstone, the flat top grill uses is like super hot, and it like caramelizes the outside of it, keeps all the juices on the inside of it. Plus, it cooks it up really quickly too. I mean,
yeah. So he can make them fast. Yeah.
But my favorite right now that he does is the smash melt.
Oh,
which basically makes like a grilled cheese sandwich with a burger
in the middle,
with the fried onions and all that kind of stuff.
I haven't had dinner yet. You guys are making me hungry.
Yeah, he does it. Everything that he's making is really good. He even has some little dessert type things. He has a little sugar cone that he'll fill with layers of marshmallow and chocolate, and then that's heated up, melted a little bit. Serves it in a tinfoil thing. It's a camper thing. It's like camping stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we're outside. We're not much different than you being at the campsite. Yeah. So
that's pretty cool.
So it's working. And
so as of November 2nd, he's there every day. We're open.
Yep.
So you can come down, Brad, and get one of those.
Oh, I think I will have to. So speaking of that, what days are you open?
Right now, we're open Wednesday and Thursday, 4 to 11. We're open Friday and Saturday, noon to midnight. And we're open Sunday from noon to 8 p.m. Unless people are having fun, then we'll stay open.
Yeah.
Got to twist your arm
if the bar's full on a Sunday evening at 8 o'clock,
they're staying.
And our bartenders know you ain't closing up if there's a bunch of them there watching football or whatever they're doing. Yeah. They're staying.
Rob, Davey, Steen, Leslie, Emily, Scott, Eugene, all our bartenders are freaking amazing.
And for the most part, they do it because they love the environment.
Yeah.
And if they've got enough people sitting at that bar that there's a great environment going on, they ain't closing because they're having fun too.
Yeah, we met one of your bartenders. What's his name? The
Mr. Davey O'Leary.
Davey O'Leary.
Oh, just real quick, I can't forget Aaron.
Yep.
I named every bartender, and I was just running through, and I'm like,
Aaron, Emily, yeah.
Well, I said Emily,
You said
but
Emily,
I just want to make sure I get them all. That way, they're not going to be,
That's true.
They're
That's
not
true.
going to be like, geez,
Because they're all very important to us.
Yeah, they are.
They're all. It's like our one of the things Mick and I want to do is we wanted to kind of have that family atmosphere of like we want everyone to.
We want them to treat it like what they want it to be.
Right.
We want them to have an environment that they're happy with. And I think they are really grasping that because they seem to have fun when they're there. And sometimes they're too busy to talk to customers a whole lot, but for the most part, they engage with our customers. They're really good with that kind of stuff. They aren't like, they aren't like, this
some
is,
snobs.
oh man, I've been working my butt off. I got to go out in the back and take a break. If they have free time, they're engaging with the customers.
I think I've seen that a few times.
And that's important.
Yeah, it is.
You brought up Davey, the greatest barman, O'Leary. I mean, like
he is the greatest barman.
I mean, he is. I mean, like he has a
in his business.
Yeah, he was awesome. I mean, he just popped like, dude, sit down here, man, with Brew Kids. I'm like, sit down here. We'll put you on air.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude does like everything.
Right.
He's like,
he does.
He's like straight out of Ireland, came to America to play like, it was almost like semi-pro basketball, then went to college to play basketball. Now he's like, has like a bartending business, works for us. I found out that he has like a record label and like a lighter business and like all kinds of shit. So, I'm like, dude, you do everything.
He does sell unique stuff online,
and he makes a hell of a drink.
And he does,
He was pretty cool.
And he can dig a hole.
Hey, I'm sitting here looking at our glass. You know what we forgot to do? Pour the second one. So when we get around to that, we're going to have to pour that out. So you're speaking of sports. You guys do a lot of the sport venue stuff on the outside of your building in your beer garden.
Yes.
What are your favorite sports? Do you guys like sports?
Well, we're being taken over by the Philadelphia sports right now.
Yeah, they're in a pretty good rally right now.
Because the Phillies are kicking it.
I mean, I'm scared
the
Philadelphia's
Eagles are just, is this for real? Because they are kicking it too. So
yeah, I don't watch football, so I couldn't tell you much about
they're
this.
both doing well. I think the Flyers are doing pretty well. I don't follow that.
I think the Eagles are the only NFL team that's undefeated.
Oh, they're still undefeated.
I actually think you're right.
Yeah,
I think as of this last weekend,
Carson Wentz ain't their quarterback anymore, is he?
Oh,
no, he's gone.
He's gone.
I actually read something yesterday where in preparation of this whole World Series thing, the Eagles doing well, like the maintenance people in Center City, Philadelphia, they're going out to like grease the light poles, stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, so I mean, that people can't climb on them, motherfuckers.
Well, it was crazy when they just won the National League pennant.
Yeah,
and it was nuts in the street.
Baseball is my sport.
Baseball's mine. I love baseball.
Do you?
Yep.
So this the Yankees choked it away. Sure. I knew they weren't going to. I mean, they hit a buzzsaw.
Chicks don't dig the long ball as much as the Yankees think they do.
You're right there. You're right there.
Chicks dig on base percentage.
Yeah, but I like you said, Mick. I think Phillies they're going to run into a buzzsaw. Houston is loaded top to bottom.
Yeah, they are. I know some huge Phillies fans, and they're just going like, I'm not. We don't think they can pull it off.
My dog's not in the fight. But there's the only reason I would ever be happy if Houston won it is for Dusty Baker. He deserves a championship.
Yep. He's won over 2,000 games and never won a World Series.
But I'm going to root for the Phillies.
Yeah.
I'm going to root for the Phillies, though I would love to see Trey Mancini get a
Trey
World
Mancini's another good one.
I mean, like he has that whole feel-good come back from cancer story. I mean, you can't dislike the guys.
And Baltimore had to cut him because he was, just wasn't in their plan for their future.
Yeah, and I really can't blame him. I mean, as much as that hurts me to say, I'm not sure who I would.
So who's your team, Jason?
I'm an Orioles fan.
You're an Orioles fan?
Absolutely. Always
They're up and coming. We were talking to Chris and Rich about that.
Yep. Yep.
They are up and coming, and I said probably 2-3 years, they're going to be contenders.
I'm curious to see what they're going to do this all season. You know, the GM saying they're going to be active in free agency. I have no idea what that looks like. I mean, if they spend $15 and like a couple bags of balls this season, like that's active in free agency for the Orioles. You know,
compared to history,
well,
what
compared to
history
the
has shown us with some of their
compared to
stuff.
the last couple.
Well,
years.
I'm a Yankee fan, so if the Yankees do not sign Judge, he's going to demand a big ticket.
I saw the Dodgers are going to.
So the Dodgers and Boston are the only other teams that could afford somebody like that.
I would think so.
The Yankees need to keep him as a Yankee life. If they do not, I'm done. Because I mean, Jeter was
Come
the man.
to Baltimore.
I thought,
That's a big ask.
Come on, Brett. I mean, orange and black, my friend.
I like Baltimore. I always rooted for Baltimore, except when they played the Yankees.
Sure.
Mhm.
You know, Baltimore always had, Cal Ripken was, of course, Eddie Murray, those guys.
Sure.
Even Rafael Palmeiro. Until I did not take steroids.
I knew.
And then you got fucking busted.
Yeah. Well, and then apparently, but one of them, Miguel Tejada, gave him whatever. You know, all these guys. That's why chicks don't dig the long ball anymore.
But,
Chicks don't like tiny balls and hard nipples. You know.
Tell us more. I mean,
Steroids are bad for you children.
Steroids.
So, Mick, what's your favorite sport?
I would say probably football is my
Football?
favorite sport. Yeah, it's the one I, as far as just watching it now. But I played basketball and baseball in my younger days.
But which football?
Lobos, and I did play a little bit of football.
Which one? The soccer?
Whoa!
He's a big
Because you're
soccer
from
fan.
New England or from New Zealand.
I'm from New
So
Zealand, where
football-
soccer is
My man-
you're European football.
My man knows more about soccer than like anybody that like I've ever met in my life, and he actually makes it interesting to me when he talks about it. You know, both.
I only know more about soccer than anybody he's talking about,
Which that's not saying.
because they know nothing, and I know just above nothing.
I'm like,
so.
why are they still playing when the clock stopped?
Yeah, I don't either. I have no
Yeah.
clue.
I ended up involved in soccer for all the good reasons. My kids played soccer, and I learned to love that game. Which I was always one of those. Oh my God, that is an awful lot of running.
Exactly.
And I prided myself on being able to run pretty good. I was fast, but I was only good for like 20 to 30 yards at a time, like down the base path. Or a little down and out. You know, I could run
Soccer.
but soccer and the physical fitness of those guys just amazes me.
Yeah, it is.
Because
It's amazing.
They just go and go and go.
Well, I
And
guess
my
the
kids played, so I got involved with the soccer club.
FIFA World Cup's going on or getting ready to.
Yes,
So
in
it's gonna
Qatar.
So that'll be the next big thing you put on your side of your building.
Actually, that's coming up here.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That
Yep.
sounds great. I'll do whatever they tell me.
That's right. Well, yeah.
I respect soccer. I think that if you could have convinced guys like Randy Moss to like play soccer back in the day, you know what I mean? And like Tom Brady and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like America would rule soccer, you know. But
Well, it's like Aaron Judge. He could be a linebacker for somebody.
sure, he probably
At 6'8".
For sure. Yeah.
He probably
I've always noticed that soccer is is the most violent sport out
Ooh.
there for the fans.
Oh, for the fans.
For the fans.
For the fans.
Yeah, the fans get beat up in that game more than
There are
like this
countries that you are at risk going to a game.
What was that?
Not going to the game,
Yeah.
leaving the game.
Yeah.
Or getting out of the stadium. There are some areas.
What was that one?
But that's not the
2
majority.
weeks ago, I think 3 weeks ago.
There was just another
huge,
incident.
and that was in England, wasn't it?
Not sure if that wasn't.
You sure it wasn't in New Zealand?
Oh yeah, I'm kind of thinking
In
that
the
was
back
in
country.
Spain.
Yeah.
I don't know, somewhere else.
I'm not sure.
I
But can't
was just
remember.
amazed at how many
but
people.
I remember
People
seeing the
rioted.
headline. I'm
And-
like,
Yeah,
Like-
soccer. I'm telling you what, soccer is. I mean, give the MLS trying to make it a competitive sport in the national
yeah.
scheme of things.
Mhm.
It's never going to be where football is.
No, well, not in America.
Nobody is.
It's a long way from what it was 15 or 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, they now have their own stadiums, and they're filling those stadiums.
And,
but I would agree with you.
Yeah.
In our lifetime, maybe not, but it's got a good grip now.
Yeah, I was talking to a customer about baseball. We have stars in baseball that people don't even know because the casual fan don't watch baseball.
Exactly.
They have not marketed properly like the NBA, the NFL.
Yeah.
All they have to do is market it.
Yeah.
The baseball misses every opportunity.
No shit.
Like during the whole like pandemic thing, what they could have actually done when they weren't shut down and all that stuff, but they fuck it all up. Like whoever is running the marketing department for Major League Baseball, like I can't believe they still have a job.
No crap. I mean, they should definitely, because there are stars and there's upcoming stars.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Like if you watch the Yankees and Astros, that Pena, the shortstop, he's going to be a star for a long time.
Sure.
The kid from Seattle.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Then you got Shohei Ohtani.
Sure.
Michael Trout,
that guy's phenomenal.
Probably one of the best players I've ever seen.
Yes.
In my lifetime. You don't get nothing because he plays for the Angels.
Yep.
Now, if that was football, he'd be all over the sports covers and everything else.
Sure.
This is true. I would agree with that.
So a couple things here. We know where we can find you guys. We are listed on the Hopped Up Network. It's a network out there for podcasts about beer. So you can look us up there. You can find us on all our social medias at Central PA Pour. CentralPA@gmail. You can email us. Let us know if there's any breweries out there you want us to look at and bring in as a guest like we have done with these gentlemen here from Gift Horse. And you can catch us on all your podcast platforms. So,
and the link tree.
Oh, and the link tree. That's right. And the link tree.
Yes.
And then subscribe to our YouTube channels. We are getting close to 100. We're trying to get to 100 before our year ends.
Let's see if we can't help with that.
Yeah, let's see if we can get to 100.
See if we can't get there.
So, gentlemen, I think we're about ready for another beer. Unfortunately, we didn't pour this one.
Well,
I'm definitely ready for another beer.
What is going to be our next beer? And then you'll see it when we pour it.
I think for the next one, we're going to bring out our Cease and Resist Double IPA.
Ooh.
It's a West Coast Double IPA. Tons of late additions of Amarillo, Simcoe, Citra, and Mosaic hops. It's 8.76%.
Oh, so it's going to be a little kicky, as Brooks Haymauer, it's stealthy.
Yes, it's a little stealthy. It's a little bit undercover. It's definitely delicious.
Mm-hmm. I was banned from drinking it for a little while.
Because you bought a brewery.
It was before I bought it. I was just hanging out at the brewery, and
Mick found out.
I would go home and forget to pay my tab at the end of the day. I was just hey, I'll see you later. This is really good stuff.
Maybe I should wait till after we drink this beer to tell you this story about Mick.
Yeah, let's do that.
And him finding his loopholes of like the cease and resist.
Cheers.
Cheers, fellas.
Cease
Cheers.
and Resist Double IPA.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Cease and resist.
You know what? For a double, are you calling this a West Coast or just a double?
It's a West Coast double.
That's more like a juicy. It is not. I was thinking like very hop forward.
You're gonna get like a lot, like some bitter in there.
You're gonna get like chewing on them.
The spruce tips.
The spruce tips. Not at all.
We don't put a lot of hops in at the beginning of the boil, which that's where you get bitterness.
Yeah.
And then like I put a lot of like double dry hop it towards the end.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
That's 8.67. And when it came up that it was 8.67, most of the time I would round it up to like 7 or down to 8.6. But then I remembered that 8.675309. Like thought that was kind of funny.
Jenny,
8.675309.
Who wrote that song? I can't remember now.
Is it Tommy Two Tone? I believe
that's it.
Was it Tommy Two Tone? Yeah.
8.675309.
The man that spawned the 555 number. They had.
Oh my God! The old every TV thing.
Every
555.
Yeah, well, he was a reason because whoever had that phone number had to change their number because they
kept getting called.
Just
they couldn't even use their phone.
So, Dave, you're not the IPA guy. What are you saying about this?
This is fairly good. It is good. Like I said, like you said, I'm not a big fan of IPAs. I'm more of a porter, the stout. I love the barrel aged stouts. There's the whiskey barrel aged, bourbon barrel aged. I like them all. But this is good. I can drink an IPA or two in an evening and be happy, but it's not one of those things where I'm going to get up in the morning and say, make me some eggs and bacon and an IPA.
I tell you what,
sounds like a pretty good morning.
They're not breakfast beers.
That, like I said, I mean, for being a West Coast double, I was expecting that hoppy pine grapefruit note. I don't get any of that. That is at least a 4 for me.
Appreciate that, my man.
That is, and this is one of your.
This is one of
flagships.
One of our flagships. It's a beer that I made before we opened. I took it to a beer festival at the National Watch and Clock Museum in Columbia. I guess that would have been back in 2016 or 17, and we ended up winning the People's Choice Award there, which was pretty cool. What wasn't cool about it, though, was that one of the local newspapers, I think it was like Lidditz, like some sort of little newspaper in Lidditz, picked it up. And about a month later, I got an email from a company called Burning Beard Brewing Company in California. And the original name of this, I guess I should say, too, we originally called it the Burning Beard Double IPA.
Okay.
Which is homage to a band called Clutch that, like,
I know, I've heard I've got a couple on my playlist.
Very nice, very nice. So yeah, this is a Clutch song. Josh and I, Josh Jacobs, who brews with me, him and I love Clutch. Seen him probably about 1 million times, and it was just kind of cool. Like, that's what we went with. And the guys at Burning Beard Brewing Company in California, they were like, they sent a real nice email. It was like, hey guys, obviously you're Clutch fans, so are we, but we have the name trademark. So, if we don't enforce our trademark, then we gotta lose our trademark, and it's the name of our brewery. But again, like I said, they were super cool. They said if we ever make our way out to El Segundo, California, to go visit them, they'd show us a good time, which I'm going to take them up up on that.
I was going to say, that sounds like an invitation.
Yeah.
And Mick's going with you.
Absolutely. Right. Mick and Josh are definitely
I'm a cease and resist fan.
Yes. Yeah.
But they don't sound like the people that flagged us.
Those situations don't always go well.
No, so it sounds pretty cool. So then you had to change the name.
So yeah, we had to change the name, and Josh and I were kind of sitting around at first. It was kind of like, yeah, it sucks, So we changed it to, and we were coming up with all these different names, and finally I was like, you know what? Cease and resist, and we went with the label. We had the fist in the air and all that kind of stuff. So we made the best of it, and honestly, we're probably better for it because everybody now would be like, what's that mean? Burning Beard Brewing Company?
Yeah. That was a better name anyway.
Yeah.
As it turns out.
Is that because you got a red beard?
It's at making lemonade out of lemons.
There you go.
He's good at that.
And I tell you what, that's a damn good beer.
That's a very good beer.
So
sometimes a little too.
I was going to say, is that one of your favorites, Mick?
Yeah.
So Mick liked this beer so much when he finally went from being Mick from New Zealand and eventually
cease and resist Mick.
Yeah, exactly. So Mick almost received a cease and desist letter.
I did. I did. They were like, okay, you can't drink that anymore.
So when we were looking for part-time bartender help, and we just needed somebody to fill in, for a couple hours here and there. We put a thing out on Facebook and, put something on our website. And next thing you know, this guy applies and it was, of course it was him. And his, where it comes to work experience, what's your bartending experience? He's like, I have experience attending bar. But I don't have much experience attending bar.
I don't have any experience Bartender.
Yeah. So at the time, our manager Terry, her and I were talking, and I read that, and I was like, "Well, we have to hire her." Like, there's no way around it.
And it's worked out because I could just see it.
It worked out. It did.
He told me then he said, "Well, mostly I took this, because I'm retiring from FedEx. I'm done, on vacation from New Zealand and all this stuff." And he's like,
my walkabout.
Exactly. But he's like, I'm spending so much money here. He's like, you guys offer, 50% off, to your employees and stuff. So he's like, I'm gonna do this just so I could get this 50% discount.
That's right. Yeah.
So then he doubles down, and we had a mug club at the time where we were offering like, if you paid X amount per month for the mug club, which we're gonna revive at some point.
$25 a month.
Don't worry, folks. The mug club
will be back.
But you get for the price of a 16-ounce pour, you got a 25-ounce pour. So Mick then
2 for 1
is paying for this. He's getting $3 25-ounce pours of the Cease and Resist. And he's sitting there, and half the time I come in the morning to work, and hey, this kind of is like the Pat attends the bar thing, but his truck's parked behind back because he's super responsible and would walk him, and that's not a lot of times, maybe
I just let it there
2 or 3
just last night.
So before I actually applied for the job, I did some contract work for him. When they took me out into the garden, I retired at the end of December, and in February, I kept talking to him about, man, that open lot out there, that is just. Oh,
so you weren't using that lot at that time?
At that point in time,
nobody, they didn't own it.
Yeah, we didn't have it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
we had all intentions of securing that lot at some point in time.
Yeah.
It was just.
But I think I was a little bit of a push. I just kept saying.
You saw a vision.
I saw a vision, and they did too. But
it takes. I
think they needed enough, a couple people to just kind of reinforce that. Find out who owns that, and they put an offer on it. They turned the first one down, so I hear. And the next thing you know, one day I was in there in the afternoon, and Casey and him took me out and stood me in the middle of that lot and said, "In about 30 days, this will be ours." And I said, "You're kidding me?" And they said, "No." I said, "Okay, now you got me." So
how do I pour a beer? Not drink it.
Yeah. Well, the bartending didn't come there, but it did come.
He started phasing himself out of the bartending a little bit.
Well, no, I wasn't bartending at that point in time. Yeah. I was still just drinking Cease and Resist, and them telling me, "Hey, you forgot to pay your tab last night." But
true story.
True story. So my first jobs there were really not on the books. I was a contractor at that time. I helped clear the lot.
What he means is he was working for beer.
Which means I was working for beer. Yeah, a lot of that means that. So
it sounds better.
Sounds
better to be a contractor.
So once we got the lot cleared and it was all prepared for the coming summer, and it was just a matter of them getting the license on it to have alcohol out there on it. They were like, you should bartend on weeknight. So that's when I was already kind of working for them as a subcontractor, so to speak. And then I put so they all knew me. It wasn't like, who is this guy?
Well, at first I didn't know you were going to apply because it was.
He didn't know I applied.
I mean, as soon as I saw the name, but then it's like, I was like, we got him.
It was kind of
he's got
a humorous thing. Yeah. We have fun with it.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
I mean, who would have thought that, after years of drinking beer, Mick and I both have slightly different accounts of how this happened.
Well, we do. There's no doubt.
Yeah. So was there a problem when Mick's trying to bartend and holding underneath the tap?
I'll tell you this. Most of the time, when Mick would bartend, he was so busy just talking to everyone.
I can see it.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed bartending on weeknights when we weren't real busy. So I had time to find out about the people who were coming in there.
And that's kind of what you said about your bartenders now. That's what they enjoy doing.
They do.
And that's what they should do.
And that is.
It is.
That's what makes a bar or a brewery or
a brewery,
anything.
a pub,
a tap house,
a public house, whatever.
They want to come back.
Yeah.
You're going back to see the bartender.
It is. It is.
I mean, it's kind of like Norm walking into Cheers.
Sure.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Back in my drinking days, running to the bars every night.
Yeah.
It was like Norm walking into the bar.
Yep.
If somebody was in the seat, they'd ask him to move.
Yeah. Before Mick and I came up here today, like there's regulars sitting around the bar outside, and it's great. Like our regulars are fantastic,
and I think it's awesome. And you guys, I could see the two of you guys get along very well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you and your brother get along? Typical brother love?
I mean, Nate and I are cool. Like I like this relationship that we have, rather than him and I working like that he's my boss, because like
now you're his boss.
I'm not really his boss.
It's his own business.
Yeah,
I mean, really,
he's contracted.
He's a contractor.
He's very motivated. I like what he's doing. He, every day is like, hey, why don't we try to do this and this and this? And sometimes I'm like doing so much other stuff. I'm like, this guy keeps texting me, but then I'd like love it because
he's got a vision like you guys have.
Exactly. I see that fire, that hunger. Like he wants to like do this to, make something out of it.
He wants his vision of food to be just like what Jason has developed with his vision of
the beer.
Yeah.
And I think like you had said earlier, that this was just at the right time.
Yep. With
the same vision and outlook, and it fit.
Yeah,
it does. And
when it fits, it just works.
It does. It does.
There's no doubt about that.
I have, I'm also very lucky. Like day job, I still work with my oldest brother. Like I do the estimating for his painting contractor, like his painting company and stuff. So I'm very lucky to be in a situation where I work with my brothers. I work with my friends. I get to be around my girlfriend, Erin. Like she helps us out at the brewery. Mm-hmm. Mick's daughters help us out at the brewery. We've made so many close relationships out of this place.
We become a family. I mean,
all top to bottom, like with, Rob, our bar manager, his daughter is Kinsley is basically she's like the gift horse mascot.
Yeah.
And then, Mick's daughters, his
I got grandkids that come in. And
I got to go back to what you just said. She's the gift horse mascot. Is somebody opening up her, looking at her teeth?
Yeah. And she doesn't have horse teeth. So.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. But I mean, and it's just really cool. And I know Mick and I touched on it a little bit earlier, but the culture that we're trying to develop, and it's not, it's a situation. I really feel that it's not something that we're pushing on people. It's just, it's happening.
It's happening. It's growing. And it echoes that culture of the craft beer community. The way that everyone gets along, even in general, the businesses of downtown, all the restaurants and stuff, what we've been a part of. We've been actually very blessed, and I hate to use the fucking word blessed, but we've been very lucky to be a part of the Restaurant Row thing on downtown. You're right there on Restaurant Row.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Sean,
we got great relationships across the street that have supported us. We try to do whatever we can for them.
I think what's cool is a couple times during the fall, the last couple of years, they shut down that block of George Street.
Yeah,
well, we've been shutting it down pretty much.
They bring the restaurants and everybody just conglomerate into the middle. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and so Mick and I, obviously at Gift Horse, since we have the giant beer garden, we don't really use that street that much, but that's why, as soon as we said something, we came up with the harebrained idea of having, a beer festival in the middle of York City on a block. Yeah. We talked to, the guys at Left Bank and Rockfish and Handsome Cab and Two Tonys, and all of them were just like, what can we do to help?
Yep. Do it.
That's awesome.
They were like, do it. And we did it on a Sunday, because they typically don't close. They have the ability to close it on Sundays, but they don't unless they have a special event.
Right.
So Rockfish had their Oyster Fest, which we became a big part of that day. And
well, shit, was that during that day?
It was the, next weekend.
The next weekend was their Oyster Fest, which was pretty awesome.
Those guys can put on a party.
Those guys did an awesome
Jeremiah
job.
and Robert and Annette over there, like they seriously they had axe throwing in the middle of the street. It was super freaking.
Yeah,
cool.
It was a great day. It was a great day, and we enjoyed the heck out of being a part of it, and just the whole street closure thing. Even though, like Jason said, we don't put tables out there, but that environment.
Oh, it's awesome.
When that's closed, it's like a festival out there every Friday and Saturday, and for us, to have Sean and Mandy at Left Bank, and Jeremiah and Robert at Rockfish, and Robert and Andrew at Handsome Cab, and Tony
and the Tonys,
two Tonys. That becomes a great atmosphere on a Friday and Saturday
telling you what,
night, and we benefit from it, even though we're not putting tables out there.
They're going to get dinner, and they're going to come over to you guys to get the booze
after dinner. Yep, they're going to come and they're going to be, well, where are we going to go from here? Wait a minute.
There's gift tours.
It's right here.
Maybe we're going to go to the place where they have live music and people are like,
and they're already listening to the live music.
It's
coming
a party.
From our
and that's that. I mean, you hate to say, on tape that we have a party all the time, but that's what we do. That's the thing that we want to do is we want to be that place that
So I think for both of us, when we were growing up, everybody says, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I don't know. I'm not really sure.
But I sure like to fucking party.
But we were pretty good at partying
and drinking beer. And now I'm going to make it.
Now it's like.
And I'm going to make the beer better.
Well, you mean you can do this as
an adult?
For real?
You mean you can run a business where people will give you money with a smile on their face? Wow.
Wait, I can't say that. I'm in the automotive repair. That's a little different story.
That is a little different story.
I mean, it's great.
It's a different culture.
It is. But so folks, if you don't know what we're talking about, you need to come to downtown York, Pennsylvania, to George Street. And there are 6 breweries in downtown York.
I think we're closing in on 7.
7.
But now, Ford's left.
Let's list them out here.
Yeah, let's list
them. So there's Gift Horse. There's Liquid Hero, Collusion, Mud Hook.
Old Ford's just left.
Ford's just left.
And Crystal Ball is gone.
Mexitali.
So we're down to 4.
Mexitali's not in the city yet.
Not yet. They aren't in yet.
But we have Love Draft. Unplugged.
Love Draft just moved in.
Yeah, they just opened right up the street from Hero.
Gear
House came into.
So that brings us. That kind of brings us back up to the 6 in the city.
So,
and when Mexitali comes in, will be another one, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's another.
Well, but then, even
that'll help make it a destination for all of us.
It is.
Well, but even that, though, Mexitali is right outside of the city. And then you have Stony Run that Colton and Tim are kicking ass out over there.
Yeah.
Then you got Genova's with Jesse.
Yes.
So those guys. And
then Rich and Chris are looking to open up. And the stuff from the South is down here.
And then of course, you got South County. Which is beautiful.
That's an awesome place.
And Windridge Farm.
Windridge.
And then Scrubbies.
Yeah, Scrubbies, Emery. I'm telling you what. So York County is one. Not only we're growing.
Yeah.
The whole state is, but downtown York, being a York lifer, seeing what it was back in the 70s and 80s, and what it then became in the 90s. And seeing what it has developed into now, you got the Fig and Barrel.
Oh,
yep. They're great.
The restaurants you guys just named on Restaurant Row, White Rose, Holy. It is you can come down and walk around the city and pretty much get anything independent you want. There's shops that are opening up all the time, and Downtown Inc. does a heck of a job.
They do
promoting every business.
Yeah, Hannah and Corey were just visiting when they gave us that Merchant of the Month thing. You know, and you're touching on some of the shops like Refillism. And, you know, like there's lots of great shops, everything going on at the Central Market, you know, like with all the different vendors, like Hefty Lefty Subs, like their food is delicious. The Corner Cabinet, Mezzogiorno, like, I mean, and I could gush about York City like for the next 20 plus minutes.
Did you guys know Central Market was on NBC News?
No.
Yeah, they were on last week.
I did. Right? I actually had somebody say that to me the other day. I'm told it got a little political.
It was very political,
which is like, and I haven't seen the coverage, but that's a little disappointing though too. Like, you know, like here's the thing: is I don't give a shit if you're Republican, Democrat, liberal, whatever. Like,
just get out and vote.
Just get out and vote, and don't be an asshole. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and don't be an asshole to your neighbor.
Well, they mentioned the fact that York was the first capital.
It was.
They mentioned the fact that York was the first capital. And they went through the history of that, and he also went through some of the shops that were downtown, and then they went into Central Market, and they interviewed a lot of people in there. You can actually watch it. It's on YouTube.
Probably on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. You can catch it.
I did not.
Yeah, so York's getting out there. Speaking of, Jason, you become quite the star on TV for local television.
I mean, I'm a pretty big deal.
You are the big deal. Come on down.
I mean, like, you know, I could be a game show host, I guess, or you know. We've been
that's your next life.
We've been very lucky, and you know, some of it is because of what we're trying to do with the community, like. Yeah, even being involved with like the guys from Crocodile Dog Marketing with the Yorktoberfest promotions that we were able to go on Fox 43 about. You know, like Matt, Kate, and Brian. Yeah, you know, they're the ones that are kicking.
Well, they were the ones that were driving the whole Brew Kids on the Block.
And I was going to bring that up.
That doesn't happen without them at all. Yeah. So
and that goes back to that. Like they gave Matt Davis the first public beer tasting that Gift Horse was at was Yorktoberfest in 2015. Like, you know, and like Matt was like the Don of beer. You know, he brought me into, at the time it was called Co-Works, which was like a co-working space.
Right.
And, you know, I had talked to him at an event or through somebody I knew, and I wanted to, you know, be a vendor, you know, set up and, you know, take my beer. And he was like, well, you're going to have to come try your beer. And I was like, I was super excited and kind of nervous, you know. And I took, the Playmate cooler with some like homebrew bottles, and it's similar to the caps that like we're going to try of your guys' then, you know. And I took him in here, and like him and I sat there for like 2 hours, maybe even 3 hours, whatever was too long. We drank a lot of beer. And at the end, I was like, still didn't know if I was allowed to come. Yeah, you know, and I finally.
So he considered himself like a sommelier or something?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was his event. You know, it was like I talked to him at, this is back at the Taste of PA, the wine festival they do at the
Rev Stadium?
No.
It used to be at the fairgrounds. Right?
This one was at the fairgrounds. And then at night they did it was the first time they did like what turned into Brew Kids on the Block. I talked to him there, and I wanted to go to Yorktoberfest, which was in, you know, October of that year. And, so by the end, like we drank all this beer and all this stuff, and him and I were just bullshitting. We got along really well. And at the end I was like, well, you know, I'll become hot. So I was like, can I come to the event? He was like, well, yeah, of course. You know, this is cool. You're going to do great. Then we ended up going to that festival. I think, or Citra Wheat was the most checked in, highest rated beer at the event.
Oh, geez.
And then that really gave me the confidence that like, well, I think we could do this, you know? And, from there, we won a lot of Brew Kids on the Block festivals.
Yeah. So was that an annual thing going on since then, or
the Yorktoberfest was, and then
Brew Kids too?
I think that was 17. And then we did Brew Kids on the Block in 18, and this is before, no, it was 16, and then in 17 we did Brew Kids on the Block before we opened. I can't remember anymore. It's on our website.
Brew Kids on the Block 5 years.
Yes, we did it for a long time. But it's on the website.
It had to be more like 15.
It might have been 15
because by 20 it was
20 was
COVID.
Yeah,
it was COVID, so it was shut down. There was no Brew Kids on the block for a couple years, and that was part of the trying to revive it.
Yeah, and I think he did,
and we were like, well, there's no better place to have it in front of our brewery,
because what they call
Jason,
the champion,
who won. He won at least one of the awards every year.
There was one year we didn't win any of.
Oh, was it?
There was one year, but like we got the People's Choice. Then the next year we got the Brewer's Choice. And the following year, I think we didn't win anything the following year. But then the next year, we won the People's Choice and the Brewer's Choice. Yeah. And then the first year Pro, which is the one that was still sat at the brewery until this last one, which Catman actually won.
Okay.
Those guys are great, too.
Yeah, they're up your way.
Are they up here?
Well, I think they live up this way.
I mean, we're going to have to get
they were hoping to go in this little strip ball down here in Shiloh.
Well, we keep looking at that building down here where the old supermarket was. So,
I mean, that would make a cool brewery.
Dude, that would be a huge venue.
It would be a huge venue.
That would be. I
mean, that's bigger than a brewery.
That's bigger than a brewery.
Do some cool shit.
Yeah, we could do a lot of cool shit.
That's an event center.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Dover Township would never let it.
So, I mean, from talking about this all these years that I've been doing beer festivals, all that kind of stuff. Actually, looking back on it, God, time flies.
Time flies.
It does.
Time flies, man.
It's kind of like we were talking to Rich and Chris, and who, asked because they're looking for their brick and mortar.
Yeah,
they're ready to go.
They need it.
And
I mean, these guys.
They've done the brew festivals.
I think they're ready. We hate to let them go because they like coming in and helping Jason.
Well, maybe they still will
in this, and they probably still will to a certain extent.
We'll collab with anybody that wants to.
Yeah,
I mean, like that. That's what this whole thing is to me. Like, and it's what Right before we opened, we did that beer with Colton at Stony Run, the Bronco Berry Sour. I'm going back on this sour thing and all that, but that's what I love. Like I love
the collab stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, and that's what charges me up. Like, and I hate to sound cheesy or whatever, but it's what gets me wanting to do this is that, and then helping the breweries that want to do something, and to pay it forward. Like the guys at Liquid Hero did for me, guys at Crystal Ball did for me, Jared at Collusion, you know what I mean? Like all those guys, like the way that everybody helped me when I had no idea what I was doing. Not that I still do, but I at least
know a little more.
If this is called, no idea what you're doing, you're doing pretty something good. I'll just keep doing what you're not doing.
And proof of that is last Christmas when Jason was not employed, wasn't
working at a brewery.
Well, you were.
He was on a walkabout.
You weren't with gift tours, but we talked to Jason and we had the guys from Jeremy and Mark come in and brew a holiday beer for us for Christmas, and who would be the person that comes in and just kind of oversees and answers questions and everything else. And he wasn't even affiliated with that period of time.
Well, I mean, Gift Horse has always been my baby.
If you're
going to come play with my...
He's always a part of it.
If you're going to come play with my kid...
He wasn't official.
What I
But
mean?
he still came in there and did that, even though he was not...
Because, I was getting ready to say, your name has been synonymous with, Emery, who we had on, Chris and Rich, and what you're saying is you're paying it forward to these guys that are still are up and coming.
No doubt.
Sure.
And that's the way any community, that's the way that us humans should be. We should be paying things forward.
That's absolutely right.
And if we all do that, the world would be a much better place.
And this is what was just discussed in that last couple of minutes is why I love this.
And I can see it.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt that I saw that in him almost right away. And the more I was around him, the more I saw it. And the more, that we've gotten to know each other over the past 5 years, it's just been something else.
Life is boring.
Unexplainable.
Life is too short to be an asshole. Yeah, you know what I mean? And life is boring if you can't get along with people and like work on things.
Just
together.
work things
Like,
out.
yeah,
always
yeah,
looking to work things out instead of fighting about it.
I mean, I felt that when I just reached out to you to say, hey, about our little podcast, would you like, and it's like, well, shit, we made an instant connection.
Yeah.
And you've been open, like, hey, man, I called you up Labor Day. We were doing a beer.
Yeah.
And I talked to Tim March, and I talked to you about when would you put this lemongrass in this kit? And you both said the same thing. So I did. But
very cool.
It's cool that I can make a call to you guys on a freaking holiday weekend.
Sure. But I mean that's how it should be. I mean, case in point, like I think I needed hops, a month or two ago, and I called Colton at Stony Run, and I was like, "Hey, man, I don't have any in a Simcoe. Forgot to order." And he's like, "Sure, I got it."
Yep. We're brewing now, and I need it. I can't. I don't have time to order.
Just 2 weeks ago, Jared from Collusion called me up, and he was like, "Hey, man, you got any lactose laying around?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think I got about 20, a couple pounds of it." He's like,
he was making a new soft and cuddly, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure of that, but I mean, because goddamn, that's delicious. But, but I mean, that's the camaraderie. That's the camaraderie. Yeah. It's friendly competition, but it's not necessarily competition. It's more of like everyone's colleagues. Yeah, if that makes sense. Like,
there's never, like in my business, it's always been the shop down the street. Mm-hmm. There's no shop down the street. The professional service facilities like mine, we all get along. There's enough of that pie that we're all getting.
Yeah.
And like a couple weeks ago, we were doing a timing job. Didn't have the right tool. Yeah, come down and get it. Bam.
That's cool.
And
Or they'll call me. Hey, I'm doing this job. Do you got this tool? Yep, come and get it. That's what it's supposed to be.
That's how it should be.
No matter what business you're in.
It shouldn't be, that cutthroat, you know what I mean? Like, you sell beer or you put on brakes and fix cars. Like, you're my enemy. Yeah. You know what I mean? It should be more like, hey, guys, let's all get together and talk about building up. What can we do to make our town into a craft beer destination?
Exactly.
Like Glenn always says, because, and by the way, we love Glenn Smith with, the Ale Trail.
He has the right vision about bringing it all together. There's no doubt about it.
And he's promoting it.
Yep.
He is.
I don't know the business side of it. I don't want to get into that, but he's an advocate for you guys.
There's no doubt.
Absolutely.
Because he might be bringing somebody in from outside that's never been to York.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And going to different places. And now guess what? Hey, we're going on vacation. Let's drive through York. I want to hit that place again.
Yep.
And while they're there, oh, look at that. There's a restaurant right across the street.
Absolutely.
It looks pretty delicious.
Hey, the Appel Center's caddy corner to this beautiful beer garden.
Yeah.
Like,
they got I just saw somebody has
like Tracy Morgan in there. I think,
Tracy Morgan. Gladys.
Yeah.
Is it Gladys?
Yeah, that's tomorrow.
Is it Gladys Knight's coming in too?
Absolutely.
So.
And then that's the thing. Big things in our little town. York has the hashtag they went with. It's historically edgy, which I love. But I actually was talking to a gentleman this past weekend who he's like, York should rebrand and be like, instead of like the first capital, it should be America's first hometown. And I dug that because it's that York is that it could be, and I think it will be. It's that Main Street living city urban area, but it can be that thing of like, if you're involved downtown, people will know your name. Yeah. You know what I mean? It should be that thing. Like, I always said when I wanted to get into this, like I never dreamt that like AB InBev was going to buy out Gift Horse and I was going to be like a multimillionaire or whatever. Like, I want to be like your butcher. You know what I mean? Like back in the day where like what's on the Brady Bunch? What's the fucking dude's name who was like their butcher that Alice went to? You know what I mean? That's who I want to be.
Yeah. You don't want to be like the soup Nazi from
He just wants to be he wants to be dependable. He wants to be dependable and know that everybody out there is coming to him because he's got.
Yeah. And just like you said, you walk from Royal Square. Now, back there where Collusion is at the Royal Square.
Yep. I was up in there.
The murals are freaking gorgeous.
They are.
Yeah.
And Corey Wolf is like so responsible for stuff.
Yeah.
And it's on some of the side of the buildings. That's what this is about. They need to bring the community up.
You're right.
bring the people in, like the businesses, and now the people should come in.
Yep.
Kudos to you guys. You guys are doing a fantastic job there.
I appreciate it.
And I feel bad that we don't get out enough to visit like we want to.
Well, and I guess if there's one thing that I would touch on, is that there is a lot of cool stuff. And I guess I've been touching on this whole damn really conversation, but there's a lot of cool shit going on in downtown York, you know, and York County in general. Like, we didn't even touch on like everything cool going on in Hanover with all those guys.
Oh, Hanover's growing too.
Yeah. And all the stuff, and all the stuff that like the Buy Local Coalition is, you know, Carmen Pantano.
That actually, that's a kudos there. We got to get out there because they do so much for the small businesses.
Yes.
And it's just like
Carmine, right?
Carmine, Pantano.
I've known him for a long time. He's still Carmen to me.
And Amanda and Ben and
but we want to bring them in on the podcast as well.
Oh, I absolutely think they should be, because they support all the small businesses, and it's not just in York City. I mean, they're out in the outskirts too, but they go above and beyond. I do not know what Carmine is taking that keeps him. He's got like 3, 4, 5 events every week. What vitamins is that guy taking?
I'm guessing it's the Flintstones.
You know what? It might be. I think that's.
I always went for Dino.
Well, you had to. Dino was the best.
But I mean, he's like the Energizer Bunny, man.
Yeah.
He's just, you know, he's here tonight, he's there tomorrow night, and then the next night he's going, I got nothing tonight. I'm just sitting here drinking. And then he's got 3 events.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gift Horse does not support the fact that Carmen's drinking all the time.
No, it's just once in a while.
No, he's very responsible. No, he's so cool though. Like, he'll come in and he'll drink, like, he'll have like a beer or 2, and take pictures of everything, and then, you know, do live streams and stuff like that.
And typically he's come from somewhere where he just had dinner and did the same thing.
Yeah.
So he's just promoting and.
Yeah, so and you guys
so
do
good
a lot.
for the county.
You guys do a lot. You just did something with the river cleanup thing as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I kind of forgot about that. That is a new project that is CRDC Global. They have a way of, it's not recycling plastic, it's repurposing plastic, and they take anything. They take styrofoam, they take your Oreo cookie tray and the wrapping that came around it, anything that resembles plastic.
Cigarette butts.
Actually, filters of cigarette butts. They is part of it.
I got a whole
not that you're going to get
pot up here full.
Well, pick them out and put them in a bag and bring them down to the brewery.
In a green bag.
We have green bags that anybody can get at Gift Horse Brewing Company. We will pass those green bags out. They can either take it back when they bring it in. They can either come to our place and drop it off, and I'll see that it gets there, or they can take it right to the new plant that just opened up at 390 Eberts Lane.
390 Eberts Lane,
and
we'll post that up on this video.
It's actually really cool.
It is very cool.
They're taking trash and plastic that like can't be recycled, or that's a pain in the ass to actually.
And it's not going to a landfill.
It's not going to a landfill,
or in our ocean,
or into the incinerator,
or to the incinerator.
And they're actually turning it into a product that like replaces sand.
It's called Resin 8, and it looks like it's stone. It's like little pebbles of stone. What it's turned into, and they're using it in concrete, cinder blocks, cement blocks, and they're repurposing it in that way. And it makes so if you were a mason, and they could cut your cinder block by 25% weight,
oh geez,
and be sturdier than it was with just sand, stone, and cement.
Oh my God,
it's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I did not stay in the masonry business. I did it when I was young, and I'm like, this is great. I ain't doing this the rest of my life.
And I swear they're not paying us to say that.
No, they aren't.
No, I brought it up.
We're huge advocates for what they're doing. This company started in Costa Rica, and it spread it Costa Rica. He's always correcting me on that, and for good reason. I keep saying Costa Rica.
No,
But anyway,
everyone knew what you meant, but I just want to be.
You know where I'm talking about. So this is real. This started in Costa Rica because there's no place for landfills.
Right.
There's not enough room on these islands, and it's spreading through the Caribbean at all those places that get millions of tourists in. And guess what they're using? Plastic water bottles, plastic coffee cups, plastic this, plastic that, and they've really have got nowhere to go with it. And for so long, it's been ending up in our oceans from them. So this is a way to repurpose that stuff back into the environment in a good way.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. And actually, there was a whole contingency of them here last weekend from all over the world.
I saw the post, and you were doing a reception dinner at your place or a reception area.
The reception dinner was at South County, and then on Saturday night it was kind of like the grand reopening. It was kind of over. It was
that's cool.
It was the after party. So
these guys, like these gentlemen and ladies, like. They work very hard. They're very like they like to have a good time.
They like to have a good time.
I mean,
the plant is cool.
It's super
what
cool.
They're doing is kind of like this is a game changer because what they're doing is going to give us a way to get rid of this plastic. The thing that really gets me is there's never been anything you could do with styrofoam.
No, styrofoam, we used to throw it back when kids, when the Big Mac used to come in.
Yeah.
And they just make sure you didn't whiff it in around a campfire.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Watch it shrink, you know what I mean? Like
this company takes styrofoam and it goes right in with the rest of the plastic.
So will they be putting receptacles out for collection, or just
they actually have future? The one is in operation. I think they're going to have 4 altogether.
Well, I know where 2 of them are specifically. I know the city's working on a couple of them.
Yes,
you can actually take it down to Ebert's Lane, like Mick was saying. But I know where 2 drop-off locations are. One of them is Refillism on Beaver Street in downtown York.
Yeah.
And the other one's at 117 North George Street.
Yes.
In the
you can bring your
gift tours.
You can bring you can get your green bags from us and you can bring them back to us and we'll see that they get them.
So it's called River Cleanup.
Well, the river cleanup was on Saturday morning.
So that was part of the whole
weekend event.
Okay.
The river cleanup was on Saturday morning, and anybody who came to the river cleanup got a ticket for their first drink free at gift tours, and a wristband that allowed them to drink for 50% off the rest of the day.
So they didn't have to become a bartender to get that.
They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to do that to become 50% off.
That's a pretty good idea.
That was a good analogy.
As we grow, we might have to do this.
Yeah,
but that was awesome. I saw that post, and I definitely wanted to bring that into the conversation.
Appreciate it.
So in the process this weekend, after sitting around with people from the Netherlands and South Africa and
Costa Rica
and New Zealand,
Costa Rica,
and New Zealand,
and New Zealand,
the Netherlands,
So the next plan. This is the first plan.
I even met a nice fellow from Georgia.
Yes, several.
Atlanta,
Canada. Yeah,
and
they were from all over the place. Yeah. People from Dow Chemical, people from all kinds
wow!
Of,
so this is going.
This is just the beginning of something big here, and we were invited to Cape Town, South Africa for the grand opening of the next plant to open is going to be in Cape Town, South Africa.
So you guys were invited. That is,
and we were invited
cool.
by the main guy from there.
And he probably said, as long as you bring your beer.
Well, I think he would like.
I think he would probably like that. And I told Mick that as long as this is a gift tour sponsored retreat, I'm in.
Yeah.
As long as this is a work,
work related, write it off.
Yeah. But no, I mean that company is great. We
great.
love what they're doing. I love the fact that we can do something with our trash that's not just like paying somebody to take it away. You know, so
because the recycling bins have limited to what they want to take.
And what we're finding out now is China's not taking it anymore.
That's why they stopped.
So guess what?
Yeah.
That stuff's either going to an incinerator or a dump or something, and it's not really getting recycled.
No,
you're just paying extra for that recycle bin.
Yep.
Not the residential, but businesses do.
Oh yeah, I know.
So
I got that.
So what got us involved there was I met these guys at a Go Green event on Beaver Street back in April. The city has that Go Green weekend where they always do this stuff. So I met a guy by the name of Ross Gibby and Dan.
You might know him from the Bad Kisser episode of Sex in the City.
He was an actor.
Never watched that show.
Me either, but that's what he told me.
And he was also in The Sopranos, and he was a character actor.
He's a super cool guy that loves dancing races. Years.
And he said later in his life, he was just looking for a way to give back, and he attended this. There's a long story on how he got to Costa Rica and met the guy who developed this system and these machines that do it, and he just became all in.
Wow.
And he's a good advocate because he knows people all around the world. And
he's got the reach.
He's got the reach. So York has a distinction right now, being the first city in the United States to have one of these.
Oh.
And through the help of Mayor Helfrich, who is a huge river cleanup guy, and
he used to be the river keeper.
He was the river keeper
before Ted
before he ran for office or anything. The partnership there is great, and I think this needs to get out more. Is that the goal here is to make York the first city to be plastic neutral.
So
plastic
go along with that first capital.
Along with first capital, plastic neutral. Yeah.
There we go.
How about that?
So I think it's great. I mean, I saw that and I definitely wanted to bring it up. I thought.
Thank you.
I didn't know what it was all about. To me, I'm thinking of the Cadores.
Yeah.
The Cadores Creek.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to be licking my fingers of pulling anything out of the Cadores Creek.
But they pulled a lot of stuff out of there on last Saturday morning.
I
will tell you this, Brad. Remember when Mick said that he didn't want to really talk a whole lot?
We
found something he wants to talk about because the guy's passionate about this. I respect the shit out of him.
And I tell you what, it's great. And you guys have become an advocate for it.
We have,
and we'll make sure it's posted on our stuff.
Appreciate you.
There's no doubt this is something that,
and it sounds like it's going to be. It's going to take the storm by world.
That doesn't get behind it. And
it would make sense. I mean, in my business, we throw I don't know how much stuff away.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, I like to look at it as it's like conservationalism that even capitalists can get behind.
Yeah,
because it's like taking trash as your raw material to make something you can sell. You know what I mean? So if you're a bleeding heart liberal or you're like a conservative or whatever, it
don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's all about what we can sustain for the future.
It's all about sustainability.
Because if we don't sustain it, it ain't going to be around.
That is absolutely right.
So I think
these guys are great. So what happened after I was at that thing? We opened up in June. And we had ordered plastic reusable cups with our labels on them, everything, our logos, and those things were pretty cheap. Came from a faraway place on the other side of the world. And they were breaking in our dishwasher. And before long, we were like, we're going to be out of these things in no time. And I'm like, we're just going to have to go back to the old plastic cup, the old pet plastic 16 and 12 ounce cups. We're just going to have to go back to it.
Unfortunately, with the beer garden, we can't have glass out there.
Right.
We don't. Yeah.
You wouldn't want glass.
We don't want glass.
Well, I mean, there's too many people walking around drunk in sandals, dropping glasses,
bare feet.
Things.
We are a bare feet kind of place.
Okay.
And we're also dog friendly, so watch where you walk. But
I never go barefoot, so I don't have to worry about it.
But we go through 1,000 or more plastic cups in a weekend.
Yes, we do.
Oh,
so I was kind of like, you know what? I met these guys, and I kind of met them through my son-in-law, Soji Otuyelu, who had previously ran into these guys, and he went over to talk to them. I went over and had enough of a conversation with them to know at this point, I'm calling those guys. I called them, told them my situation. We're using 1,000 cups a weekend.
And that's costly.
And it's costly. And I'm throwing them in the dumpster that is for recycling, knowing that there's probably a good chance that they're really not getting recycled. So I talked to them. They came over to see us. Guess what happened?
They have cups.
They fell in love with Day at the Races.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, which is been a nice thing too.
That's been that was actually I don't know. They just it played a big part in. Ross just was like, oh, this is he was an actor in California for 26 years. Said this is the best sessions IPA ever had.
Oh, that's right there, man.
And he started
cool.
He started coming in every Wednesday night. Before he would always be in town. He lives in New Jersey. He'd always be in town from Monday to Wednesday or Thursday, but he would come in on Wednesday night, have a few, and take a 4-pack. And the more we talk, and of course they brought in the big signs and the containers to put it in and the bags, and the relationship started, and he kept drinking the Day at the Races, and it just all snowballed into us having that reception party at the end. Awesome. At the end of a weekend of their launch of the first factory in the United States.
That's cool. So that's on Eberts Lane.
It's on Eberts Lane. I think it's 390.
Okay.
And there's a place back there to drop off back there. That's where I take it. I load my pickup truck after every weekend, either Monday, Tuesday. I load that pickup truck and take it out there to them, and
that's awesome.
They're great guys to be supported.
But you said 4-packs, so you guys have stuff to go?
Yes, we always have a selection like 4-packs and different things like that for sure. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. We'll do growler fills, depending on what it is. Right now we're pretty guest tap heavy,
we are
guest tap heavy, which we can't sell. Those in growlers.
Right. But we know C&C's is on there.
We
the jalapenos on there.
Tap number
the boss
7.
The boss
specifically.
I think he said number 7.
I believe you're right. I think it is number 7.
Tap 7. We have the boss. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I was not happy with cleaning out the 15 pounds of jalapenos in the fermenter. Yeah. That's a different story. I had to make a high pressure CO2 jalapeno cannon, which echoed the apple cannon that I had to make a couple years ago. But it was cool.
That's cool.
Beer tastes good.
The beer tastes good, and that is the final product there.
I mean, the fact that I had to wear jalapenos for a couple different times.
Yeah. Jalapeno on a stick.
Jalapeno shower on my face.
Guys,
it's all good.
I tell you what, this has been tremendous. It's been fun.
Very cool.
Tell us again
for us too.
Where can they find you guys?
You guys can find us at 117 North George Street. Mick and I will probably be there. One of the two of us will, and we'll talk to you about plastics and beers and stuff like that. You can also find us on www.gifthorsebrewingcompany.com. Search us on the social medias. It's Gift Horse Brewing Company. You can also give us a call.
Yeah.
717-846-BREW.
Oh, brew. There
we might even answer. Probably won't, but leave us a message.
Call after lunchtime.
After lunchtime?
We're usually, yeah.
Other than that,
unless he's there early brewing, there's usually not too many people in there until after.
I tell you what, I've had a tremendous time. This has been awesome.
Now, I got to ask you, though. Is this the longest episode ever?
I don't know. Until I put it together, I don't know.
Okay. Oh, so the power is still in your hands. So.
His power is still in mine.
Very nice.
It's here.
The scissors are in his hands.
We had a great time.
We did.
And, I know we still got one more beer to try.
We do.
We have one more beer to try. And we're brought up a little earlier that I'm kind of curious about you guys too. You know?
Yeah,
I'm wondering if
absolutely.
there's something that we need to know about you guys and how this all came about, because you're doing a great thing for the beer world.
Well, we appreciate that.
Where does that come from?
Well, it started with Dave.
How did it start with me?
just being his neighbor.
Yeah.
It stemmed from our beer nights.
Where
We
was the first beer night?
My house.
Was that your house?
Yep.
That's right.
It was a December. I was like, we were all running around getting beers, and it's like doing around the campfires. Hey, you gotta try this. Gotta try some. And then you're the one that said it. Why don't we just make this fucking official? I went out and I found some. I printed up beer cards, scorecards. I still have them. And it was the three of us. I supplied it. I think the first time around, the host supplied all the beer.
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah.
And then it's like, well, shit, this is expensive. So the next time around, it's like everybody bring 2 to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And then now sometimes we've had as many as 9 people, 8 people there. I guess pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Especially when you're starting to get some barrel aged stuff.
Mm.
So
Oh, Jesus,
yeah.
yes.
So
And it gets interesting because of the fact that you need 9 people that bring 2 beers to the
Yeah.
table.
by the time you get to the last one, you're not even recording it.
You're not really sure whether you liked it or not.
Yeah.
But it went down pretty good.
It was beer.
It was beer.
So that's where this stemmed from. Then I did a podcast for my industry, and I thought, well, shit, that was kind of fun. Why can't we turn this into a podcast? So talked to Dave and Kevin around a campfire, and Kevin's son Ben showed up and was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm in. Let's do this. So we kind of talked about it and just did it. The idea was, let's get comfortable amongst ourselves just doing this and then start branching out and highlighting the guests. That's what we've been trying to for. There are plenty of podcasts about beer.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to just see a couple guys sitting around talking about beer or whatever and drinking? Our idea and vision was to bring and focus on the guests, and that's you guys.
The people making the beer.
The people making the beer, the people that
makes
own
your
the
beer
breweries.
nights pretty good.
Yeah, so that's been our whole idea. It's kind of where it stemmed from, and we're making connections. We're meeting you guys, and this has been great. We've been kind of like you said, blessed. We've kind of been welcomed into this community, and we had a great time at that event. And I think next year we've talked about we need to put some more like Yorktoberfest and some more of these festivals on. It was funny after we got done doing that the Brew Kids, Ben called me and says that we already got a message from somebody that wants us to come and do their festival next week.
Oh, nice.
It was out way north of Philadelphia. I'm like, nah, it's a little far away.
yeah. That one might be a little bit. Yeah.
But it was like, well, shit. Somebody watched it.
That's a good sign. Right
Somebody
there.
watched it.
That's a
Well,
good
and
sign.
I mean, and that's cool too. Like, it's the same thing with us. Like, holy shit, someone actually is buying our beer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
So they can come and get a 4-pack or whatever, a growler.
4-packs, growlers. We have,
Try the flights.
Try the flights. We have 12 beers on draft. We have 2 full service bars. You know, we're not
Slushies, orange crushes.
Awesome smash burgers.
awesome smash burgers. That smash melt though.
I'm already gonna knock it. I'm gonna come into you guys. I gotta get down to Scrubbies. I gotta go see Emery.
All right. Well, hey, let us know when you're going down. We'll meet you down there.
Yeah. So Dave, you got anything?
We could be there as an audience on that one.
There we go. You got any last comments? This has been awesome.
Yeah, it's been great.
I think I've done all the talking. You've just been sitting back listening.
I'm enjoying sitting back listening.
I didn't poke the bear tonight.
No, I'm glad you didn't. No,
He's been taking notes.
Yeah, I take notes.
I saw him taking notes.
I do take notes, but and I also look stuff up on my iPad whenever I'm talking. You know,
Did you fact check us on anything?
Yeah, I did.
Good for you.
Yeah, I did.
God.
Actually did a FBI background.
Did I explain the Spruce tip beer wrong?
You know, it's interesting.
Just the tip.
Yeah.
Just the tip.
Just the boot.
Anyway, the bring this back up above ground. Ben actually, when he does this live, it's kind of interesting to watch the comments come in live. When you sit there and people want to talk about different things. Can I ask the guest this? Can I ask the guest that?
They have questions.
Type of things. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting once we get that evolved out. Right now, we just did the only thing we've done was the live StreamYard.
We've done a couple live.
Yeah, we've done the live StreamYard,
yep.
but we haven't had a chance to do the call-ins, and that's what I would.
Yeah, so we're trying to grow this, and maybe we get to a point where these interviews will be a live stream. That while we're live and we got interaction with fans.
I mean, I think that's cool. The aspect that there could be people that are like, Mick, where do you get your hair done? You know what I mean? Things like that.
And so the idea behind what we're doing.
That was a question that I had all night,
I bet.
Yeah. well, that these can be hybrid.
They do it out back.
Yeah.
Back in the
out and back.
Yeah. I did it with my knife.
But
that's not a knife.
My daughter learned how to cut hair in college because all these college guys didn't want to spend the money to go get their hair cut. They wanted to save their money for beer.
There we go.
So she would cut their hair for $5.
That's kind of cool.
So that's where I go now. Now I go to her.
Dell Computer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Michael Dell. He was a college student, and he would back whenever he was in college, computers were outrageously expensive, but every student needed one. So he decided to buy a bunch of parts, and he would make them on demand. And the kids come over, and they could buy a computer for a quarter of the price that they were charging at the stores. And that's how he got started.
Is that right?
Smart man.
A great
Dell
story.
Computer, one of the biggest computer companies around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we try to keep the sit-down interviews, and then what the idea behind the live is Ben will reach out to you guys as a follow-up sometime down the road and bring you on a live stream.
That'd be cool.
So that's kind of what we're doing here.
Sure.
You know, we do a full sit-down and then a follow-up with the live stuff. So we're growing. We're just having fun.
Well, that's
it's all about
what you should be.
It's all about the beverage.
It's all about the beverage, and it's all about the beverage and friendships and the community and all that. And I mean, having fun with it is the most important thing.
Yep. And so we appreciate you guys taking the time to come up here and sit down with us to do this. But we do have one more beer. We've had this beer, but so I want you guys to tell us what we're going to be cheersing out with.
So we're going to cheers out with our Triple Crown Brown Ale. It's 6.3% traditional style English brown ale. You're going to get some nice toffee and nutty notes in there. Pretty delicious.
Yeah, so
pretty delicious.
Triple Crown Brown.
Triple Crown Brown.
So again, look us up on all your social media platforms, the Central PA Pour. Make sure you get out and find Gift Horse Brewing in downtown York.
Yes, sir.
And if you got a glass, whatever you have in it, let's all raise one with Gift Horse Brewing in the CPP. And let's all be bonded by beer.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.